The WWF, what the world is watching. Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade, episode 182. I am Ray Russell, and we continue on February 1989 in the World Wrestling Federation. It is now time for week 3 of TV here in February. Of course, the Mega Powers have already imploded, getting ready for the explosion here very soon. Where? We'll find out this week. As part of the program, as we kick it off this week, guys, going back in time once again, this time February 18th, 1989 edition of the WWF's Superstars of Wrestling. Here it is, Superstars, February 18th, tape back January 24th, Tucson, Arizona, the Convention Center. Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura on commentary here for Superstars, headed to the ring to see Jake the Snake Roberts battle Barry Horowitz. Little pat on the back there. We get an insert promo from Jake, warning Andre the Giant that he, or Damien, can strike at any time. Watch out, Giant. Barry Horowitz in the ring, getting in his shots throughout the entire match, working a headlock. Quite a bit of offense here from Barry, but he's going to leapfrog over the Snake at one point and looks to have blown out his knee, did Horowitz, and thus turning around right into a waiting DDT. Going to get the win, DDT out of nowhere. Jake goes over 2 minutes, 27 seconds. And a little post-match Damien fun, per the usual. Damien slithering all over Horowitz before Jake using the Snake to chase the referee away as well. As Jesse Ventura on commentary going to put over Horowitz's offense, noting that Barry had control until the unfortunate injury, if you will, near the end of the matchup. Jake Roberts going over with one simple move, the DDT. As we go off now to Update and Mean Gene Okerlund this week, the card beginning to take shape for WrestleMania 5.
From the pages of the World Wrestling Federation magazine, here's Update.
Hi again, everybody. WrestleMania 5, Sunday afternoon, April the 2nd, from Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Right now, a number of challenges are in the talking stages. The Red Rooster wants his former manager, Bobby Heenan. The Brain, by the way, is ignoring that request. One match already signed. The Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, to defend against Ravishing Rick Rude. I must say, after the Royal Rumble, this match had to happen as part of WrestleMania 5. Another title bout. Tag Team Champions Demolition, Axe and Smash battle the powers of pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian, and their manager partner, Mr. Fuji. This is 2 against 3, and yes, folks, the titles are on the line. What about Andre the Giant meeting Jake the Snake Roberts with Big John Studd as the special referee for this matchup? And the big one tonight, do mean the big one, for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, Macho Man Randy Savage to defend against Hulk Hogan. And by the way, later on in this hour, we will hear from both the champion and the challenger. Again, it is the biggest wrestling spectacular of all time, WrestleMania 5, Sunday, April 2nd, Sunday afternoon, April 2nd, from Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Now, there's going to be so much more to come next week. More matches and more details. For Update, I'm Gene Okerlund.
Challenges have been issued, matches have been signed. Demolition defending the tag team titles, 3-on-2 handicap match. The Demos taking on the Warlord and Barbarian, the Powers of Pain, and manager Mr. Fuji going to don the tights as well as part of WrestleMania. Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, defending his title against Ravishing Rick Rude. It's going to be Andre the Giant versus Jake the Snake Roberts, one-on-one. But a special guest referee included in one Big John Studd to make sure the rules are followed there. And the big one, it's been announced, guys, Hulk Hogan will indeed challenge the Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWF Championship. Plus, we learned the Red Rooster has also issued a challenge, not to a wrestler, but rather Bobby the Brain Heenan, the former manager Red Rooster, looking to sink his talons into the weasel hide of one Bobby Heenan. Will the Brain accept that challenge? We'll have to wait and see. But the big one, I mean, take your pick. 3 title matches already announced, but the biggest of them all, Hulk Hogan challenging the Macho Man. It appears Randy Savage has accepted the Hulkster's challenge he laid out last week. As we go back to the ring, as promised last week, tag team action, feature match time. Going to see the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, battle the Brainbusters. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, Bobby Heenan by their side. The Rockers going to rush to the ring to meet their foes, the Busters, already inside the ring. And this is the second time these two have been scheduled to meet on TV, these two teams. And this is the second time the brawl begins before the bell can even sound. Shawn and Marty looking for revenge on the Busters. Jannetty brawls with Tully Blanchard on the floor. Blanchard tries to run up the aisle, run away from Marty, but Jannetty going to leap off the ring steps, tackling Tully in the aisleway. Meanwhile, in the ring, Shawn Michaels' super kick lands on Arn Anderson. Bobby Heenan in to try to attack Shawn from behind, tries to aid Arn Anderson, but Marty returns to the ring. The Rockers going to double team Arn, Bobby Heenan wisely jumping to the floor. Tully Blanchard, meanwhile, left somewhere way up the aisle, has to jog back as the Rockers plant Arn Anderson with a double drop kick. Blanchard returning to ringside, all 4 men brawling around the ring as we once again have ourselves a no contest as all 4 men brawl their way to the backstage area. This is almost done like a reminder as to what we saw before between these two teams. The same layout. The two teams are brawling before the bell. We don't really get a matchup here, but the heat going to have the crowd excited anyway. A replay, really, in many ways, of what we saw shortly after the Survivor Series between these two when they were supposed to go nose to nose. It didn't happen then. It doesn't happen here. Well, they certainly go at it. However, not a match to be had. No contest once again. The two teams continue to steal the show on the house shows, however. We're lucky enough to have a couple to reference here in regards to some Boston Gardens and things of that nature. Would have been a phenomenal match for WrestleMania V, but it's just not in the books. The Brainbusters and the Rockers continue to work each other on the house shows. As we go off now to the Event Center, Sean Mooney standing by with the reigning WWF Tag Team Champions, Demolition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean Mooney. It is official. WrestleMania 5. It will happen Sunday afternoon, April 2nd, starting at 4 p.m., live from Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Other matches to follow in the coming weeks, but these matches already signed. For the Intercontinental Championship, the Ultimate Warrior, he will face Ravishing Rick Rude. Jake the Snake Roberts to tangle with Andre the Giant, the special guest referee, Big John Studd. And the Mega Powers explode for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, the Macho Man Randy Savage to face Hulk Hogan. Also the Tag Team Championship on the line. The Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji to face Axe and Smash of Demolition for the Tag Team title.
Oh, who's the Stooge? I guess you're the one that set the stage way back in the Survivor Series. Remember when you tripped my leg? And we still don't know why. But it's all set. You got your big goon. You got the giant warlord. And you got the barbarian. And they're a couple of tough son of a guns. And when it comes to WrestleMania 5, we're going to give you a fight. Because when it all ends up, the two idiots are going to be gone. And you're going to be sitting center stage. And you know what happens then, Fooge the Stooge? Everything you taught us is going to happen to you.
Oh, you've done us well, Fooge. You've done us well. Right here in WrestleMania, 1 year after we captured these belts, we're putting them on the line. 2 of us against you and your 2 stooges. Well, Fuji, the Warlord and Barbarian, they aren't going to be able to help you. We're going to dispose of them, throw them out of the Trump Plaza, and you're going to be left there in there by yourself. And I'll tell you something, Fuge. We've got a couple tricks up our sleeve. We're coming after you. That little chubby neck And those eyeballs, they're going to be popping all over Atlantic City. We're going to give you a promise.
Axe and Smash looking forward to getting their hands on not just the Powers of Pain, but certainly Fuge the Stooge as part of that handicap tag title match at WrestleMania 5. And now we saw it last week, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase looking to have his own personal $1 Million championship belt made. And we're going to go back and Ted DiBiase comes back into Betteridge Jewelers week 2 here, looking at the progress of his $1 Million belt.
Where's my belt? I want to see my belt.
Well, we're really not ready for you. We're working on it.
I don't want to hear any excuses. I want to see my belt, and I want to see it now.
Well, it's in pieces. The jewelers are...
I don't care if it's in 1,000,000 pieces. I want to see what you got right now.
Okay, we'll go take a look. Follow me. Well, this is it. This is what we have so far.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very nice. Exactly what is he doing there?
Well, here he's picking the diamonds to fit into the centerpiece on top of the belt.
If that's the centerpiece of my belt, then you don't have nearly enough diamonds. I want more diamonds. I want bigger diamonds.
We've got almost 500 in total.
I don't care if you've got 500 stones there. If that's just 500 stones and that's my centerpiece, we need 800 stones. We need more.
All right.
Okay. And what's he doing over there?
He's working on the links to the back of the belt.
Well, I want that in gold. I want that solid gold.
This wasn't part of the original plan.
I don't care what the original plan was. I'm paying for this, Betteridge, and I say I want gold there. Look, you had your price to take on this endeavor, and everybody knows that when the $1 Million Man wants something, he gets it the way he wants it. I always get what I want.
Well, DiBiase stating there's not enough diamonds here. Only 500 diamonds. I need 800. And he wants real gold links on the belt. More, says the $1 Million Man. Money talks as Ted DiBiase makes demands for a title fit. Well, for a $1 Million Man. To be continued, the making of the $1 Million title belt as we go back to the ring for Bad News Brown battling Louis Spicolli. And for once, it's the opponent attacking Bad News as he tries to enter the ring. Leave it to Louis. Unfortunately, that doesn't go so well for Mr. Spicolli. Brown going to take over immediately with a high backdrop, eventually leading to the Ghetto Blaster, giving Bad News the win 1 minute and 39 seconds. Coming off his feud with the now heel Macho Man, Bad News Brown going to have to look for a new big feud. There's even tease there in commentary of an open contract, perhaps, for Bad News leading into WrestleMania. Who would sign such a contract to take on Bad News Brown? We'll have to wait and see. But the action continues on in the ring as Koko Beware, the Birdman, out to take on Ross Browner, or Browning, according to Howard Finkel. We're going to catch Browner early on with a nice knee lift and a rolling neck snap. Is that where Kurt Hennig stole it from? Browner, who apparently has no idea how to hit the ropes, looks for a backdrop, but eats another knee lift instead and takes a shitty bump to boot. Total botch there from Browner. Missile dropkick from the Birdman, followed by the Ghostbuster. And holy shit, what a Ghostbuster. Go check it out. I posted it on my social media. Gonna give Koko the win, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Obviously a filler match on the card, but Koko made it look good out there. The announcers, however, focusing on discussing all the big matches now signed for WrestleMania. Sad to say, a pay-per-view which will not feature the Birdman. Again, match goes 2 minutes, 54 seconds. Koko Beware grabbing a win here on TV. As we go off now, last week, Hulk Hogan issued the challenge to the Macho Man. This week, we've already learned he's apparently accepted said challenge for WrestleMania, but we're going to hear the response from the Macho Man Randy Savage in regards to the challenge laid out by the Hulkster.
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. Elizabeth, my manager, lust in your eyes. I remember what you said. You and I are fighting for the same lady, brother. She's my lady too, brother. Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, got stuck, yeah. But I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time against the Conquistador, yeah. When there was a Conquistador out of the ring. And I was beating that first Conquistador, and I could have beat the other. And guess who shows up? At ringside, yeah. To steal the madness spotlight. Hulk Hogan, yeah, the one that's so jealous of the World Wrestling Federation champion that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea you came up with for SummerSlam, huh? Did you forget that one? Think back, Hulk Hogan, yeah. Think back to your past and what you've done and what you've said.
That's when we'll give Elizabeth the high sign. And as she undoes the Velcro fly on the back of her skirt and takes the skirt off, underneath the skirt, our secret weapon.
Oh, yeah, once again, hard to swallow that stupid idea, Hulk Hogan. But the thing that was the capper, yeah, the thing that I couldn't swallow that just made me throw up was at the end of SummerSlam, yeah. Behind my back, love me like a brother, I got proof right here, yeah. You got lust in your eyes and in your black heart. For Elizabeth, I got the proof. That right there sealed your fate, yeah. That put the madness over the edge, yeah. And when the moment of truth comes in WrestleMania 5, yeah, you're not taking anything that's mine, yeah. You're not taking my manager Elizabeth, because she'll be in the madness's corner. And what else have I got that you want, yeah? The World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. And you're not getting that either, yeah. Because when I crawl through those ropes, yeah, and you look into the madness's eyes, yeah, you're gonna start to shake, Hulk Hogan, because I know everything about you. I know your strengths, and I know your weaknesses, yeah. And my eyes are the eyes of victory, yeah. And I will not be denied. Love me like a brother. I'm gonna get you, yeah. What are you gonna tell all your Hulkamaniacs in front of that capacity crowd, in front of zillions and zillions of people all over the world, when they know that Hulkamania's dead?
And this marks the beginning of the My Side of the Story vignettes we're going to see for the next several weeks here on TV. Randy Savage playing intersplicing video clips, perhaps, I won't say doctored, but edited to his liking, to put over his narrative of the ongoing feud now with the Hulkster. As the Macho Man said there, you should have known. He should have known from the beginning when the Hulkster said, "You and I are fighting for the same lady, brother. She's my lady too." Hulk Hogan laying claim to the lovely Elizabeth. Macho says he didn't like the taste of that, but he swallowed it anyway. Savage going on to point out a matchup he had with one of the Conquistadors on TV, but it was Hulk Hogan coming in to steal the spotlight, and fight off Conquistador number 2. "You came in there with your poses," says Randy Savage. You gotta love that line. "Came in there with your poses, Hulk Hogan, stupid idea for the lovely Elizabeth to be dressed in a bikini at SummerSlam. Macho Man claiming it was all Hogan's idea. Then, of course, we see a clip of where Hulk putting his hand on the lovely Liz's ass and supposedly to prop her up, but Savage making sure to point out it was behind my back. Lust in the eyes, says the Macho Man. Savage has his eyes, the eyes of victory. And at WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan, you're not taking Elizabeth. You're not taking the WWF title belt. You love me like a brother? Hulkamania is dead come WrestleMania, so says the Macho Man. You gotta love the clips from Randy Savage's point of view. The infamous My Side of the Story vignettes begin to air as the Macho Man explains his early issues with now former partner Hulk Hogan in the first of many promos to come for WrestleMania 5. The hand on the butt of Elizabeth? That did it for me. I'm with the Macho Man. Hulk is absolutely the heel in this storyline, brother. As we go back to the ring, going to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan take on Daryl Peterson, the future Max Payne in WCW, Man Mountain Rock in the WWF. Surprisingly, Hacksaw going to go for a big swing early on, and Peterson catching Duggan with a backdrop over the top rope and out to the floor. But Duggan landing on his feet, pulling Peterson out, and stays in control. Tough guy. Back in the ring, it's a nice knee drop, setting up the 3-point stance and running clothesline. Going to give Duggan the win, 2 minutes, 33 seconds. And I confirm it here this week. No more jumping clothesline from Hacksaw, but he's still trying to bump with the clothesline. I'll give him that much credit. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, recent knee injury, is going to cool down the old 3-point stance clothesline moving forward. But right now, we're going to move forward to the Brother Love Show. His special guest this week, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the perhaps future Intercontinental Champion, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Wait a minute. He didn't win that, Jesse. He certainly did. You heard it. Keep quiet to me.
You with your Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 5 against the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, you know, Brother Love, I did prevail in the superpose stop. But you see, I did prevail not only because I love my body, not only because I love to show off my body, but because the ladies love the way I move. And as far as WrestleMania 5 goes, it will be a glorious occasion for Ravishing Rick Rude, because I will step in the ring and meet the Ultimate Warrior. I will defeat the Ultimate Warrior. I will become the new Intercontinental Champion, and once and for all, I will show the world exactly where the Ultimate Warrior belongs.
Oh, my goodness.
Behind me.
That's the best he's ever looked. I can't believe that.
Well, both Brother Love and Rick Rude agree that Rick was the clear-cut winner of the Super Pose Down back at the Royal Rumble, and soon Rude will be the new Intercontinental Champion. Ravishing Rick then showing off his new pair of tights as he turns around to reveal the Ultimate Warrior's face on his ass, complete with butt flexes in between. Pretty basic promo. I hope they up the ante for this IC title match leading into the pay-per-view. Two big names, the Warrior and Rick Rude, but I don't know about using that one angle at the Royal Rumble to build the heat over a 3-month span, but we'll wait and see what they do here in the weeks to come between the Warrior Man and Ravishing Rick. IC title on the line, WrestleMania, not too far off. But right now we go back to the Ring More Tag Team action this week. The Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian, manager Mr. Fuji out there. Their opponents this week, Frankie Valdez and Ricky Ataki. And as the bell sounds, Vince McMahon going to channel his inner Jesse Ventura as he mocks Frankie Valdez's girth, suggesting he ate one too many enchiladas, pal. Nice, Vince. Valdez gets worked over fast and a total mauling by the POP. Then it's Ataki's turn in the ring. Warlord with a gut-wrench toss, and Ataki eventually running into the Barbarian Big Boot, which sets Warlord up to hold Ataki in the air. Big bear hug as Barbarian comes off the top rope. Big clothesline from the Barbarian, going to get the Powers of Pain the win. 2 minutes and 21 seconds. The POP looking strong as they head into their big title match upcoming with Demolition at WrestleMania. And while earlier in the program we heard from the Macho Man Randy Savage, we got his side of the story. Now Hulk Hogan going to respond to Randy Savage, because of course he does.
I remember like it was yesterday, Macho Man, when you introduced me as the greatest tag team partner of all times. When you introduced me as the greatest man to ever watch your back. Don't you realize after Milwaukee, you're on the wrong side of the fence? Even with all the edited footage, the whole world's watching you, man. They know what's going on. Here's what really happened, man. Here's the real footage.
I've got me a tag team partner, and he's the greatest tag team partner that anybody in the world could ever have. And here
you and I are fighting for the same lady, brother. She is now our manager, and you and I are fighting for her honor, Macho Man. Macho Man, I'm not going to argue with you about this conquistador thing. I know you could have beaten both men, but I was just doing what you wanted me to do, man. When you had one of them down for a clear-cut victory, I came in there, I held the other one off, brother, so you could get the win right in the center. And as far as the spotlight, as far as sharing the glory, brother, I'm the one that wanted you there with me, posing side by side, brother, you and me together, just like always, man. And as far as the secret weapon, brother, enough of the edited footage. It was your idea, too. Both of us thought of it. This is the way it was.
We're going to have to use our secret weapon, brother.
Yeah! The secret weapon, brother.
Oh, yeah, remember, yeah. Elizabeth with her canary yellow high heels, yeah. And her yellow polka dot French high cut itsy bitsy string bikini, yeah.
Thank God the secret weapon worked, Macho Man. The SummerSlam was the greatest test of all time for the Mega Powers. But the way you edited that footage makes me sick. The way you tried to look like something was going on between me and Elizabeth, brother. All I was doing was making sure she was steadied on your shoulder. You were so pumped up. Your delt was so big, I thought she was going to slip off. This is the way it went down, man. How could you say I was selfish, man? How could you possibly say that I wanted to steal the spotlight? When I saw you and Liz up there, I loved the way you shine. Maybe at that moment, I had lust in my eyes because I wanted to be on your other shoulder, Randy. I wanted to be up there with you guys. But let me tell you something. The way you've ruined everything, the way you put Elizabeth between us, the way you tore her heart out, there's no way she's going to be in your corner at WrestleMania. But I can tell you one thing, Macho Man. You're not going to be the champion when this thing's over. The madness isn't going to run wild because the mania over the madness equals the mega powers, brother. And when we collide, when we explode, it's going to be the greatest natural disaster of all times. And when it all settles, when you're at the bottom of the mountain, and I'm looking down, it'll be ashes to ashes, dust to dust, in God, in the Hulkster.
Well, even with all the edited footage Randy Savage showed earlier, Hulk Hogan showing the real footage here, brother. Hogan explaining away why he teamed with Randy Savage, why he helped with the Conquistador, how the Bikini Liz angle was both of their ideas, dude. And the hand on the ass? Well, Hulk thought that Liz was going to slip off the shoulder. Not buying that, brother. Maybe at the moment Hulk had lust in his eyes, but it wasn't for Elizabeth, he says. It was to be on Savage's other shoulder. What the fuck? Lust in the eyes to be on the shoulder of Randy Savage. Kind of creepy, Hulk. Hogan not buying that Elizabeth will be in Randy's corner at WrestleMania because it's Hulkamania over the madness. It's Mania over the madness. That's what made the Mega Powers, brother. So I guess what the Hulkster's saying there is Hogan is greater than Randy Savage. Fun rebuttal, no matter whose side you're on here, Randy Savage or the Hulkster. Both men claiming Elizabeth as their manager for WrestleMania. Going to be interesting to see what she does with that. Hulk Hogan responding to each of Savage's comments, and this will go on as they continue to tell the story of the implosion of the Mega Powers in the weeks to come. And right now we go back to the ring. One more match here this week on Superstars. The Canadian strongman Dino Bravo, Frenchie Martin still out there as manager, taking on Mark Ming. And Frenchie's still doing his shtick on the mic pre-match, a little French speaking into the microphone for the crowd. Not sure what he says there, but we get some USA chants in rebuttal from the fans at ringside. And Martin going to wave the Quebec flag high as Dino Bravo takes to action. Inverted atomic drop, big elbow drop, sloppy looking pile driver, followed by an airplane spin. The Dino of old. Gonna send Ming around the ring groggy with that airplane spin, walking right into the side suplex, Jess. Gonna give Dino the win, 1 minute, 49 seconds. Says, no mention of Hacksaw Duggan in here. And with Duggan and Bravo on the same show, no mention of the feud, no altercation. I'll take it. Looks like both men are moving on. And we move on to the event center. Sean Mooney. We're going to hear from Andre the Giant and his manager, Bobby Heenan.
Welcome back, WrestleMania 5. It is going to take place April 2nd. That is a Sunday afternoon starting at 4 p.m. at Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Jake the Snake Roberts to settle it once and for all with Andre the Giant, the special guest referee, Big John Studd. Andre the Giant is standing by right now with comments.
Oh, Jake the Snake, you think you're lucky in WrestleMania 5. You think you can hide behind Big John Studd now that he's back. 380 pounds, 6'10", big deal. He stabbed me in the back, and if you're looking for help from him, he's gonna stab you in the back. Well, I got a man that's 7'5" and weighs 525 pounds.
And I never lost a match.
And never lost a match, never was pinned.
I don't care what kind of referee you're going to take in there. But Jake, I start to get tired of you. If you still want to come in the ring with that thing, I don't care. Do it. Because this time, Jake the Snake, believe me, there's going to be the match of your life. The time I'm going to put my hands on you, Jake, there's no exit at all. When I go to load those hands on your neck, Jake.
And squeeze. And squeeze. And Studd, even with all your power, and as strong as you are, you won't be able to pull these hands apart. And Jake the Snake, as that last gasp of air comes out of your carcass, yell for Damien, but no one will help you. No one.
All right, Andre walking into WrestleMania, finally going to get his hands one-on-one with the Snake Man, Jake Roberts, but now Big John Studd named the special guest referee. Can they trust a former Heenan family member to call it down the middle? It doesn't sound like Bobby Heenan trusts Big John Studd, but Andre the Giant looking forward to his matchup with Jake at the pay-per-view. As we learn next week on Superstars, more matches to be announced for WrestleMania, plus Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior will be here, along with the Fabulous Rougeaus, Rugged Ronnie Garvin, the Mighty Hercules, Greg the Hammer Valentine, handicap action. Going to see Andre the Giant 1-on-2. Andre, listen to this, going against Tito Santana and Jimmy Powers. What an odd duo there. Interesting. Tito Santana thrown into a handicap match with the 8th wonder of the world. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Feature match next week. Going to see Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig step in the ring with the Red Rooster.
The biggest match of my life is coming up right here next week. I'm going against Mr. Perfect, who's undefeated. Well, I feel pretty perfect myself after unloading the weasel. I can guarantee you people one thing. There will be a loser, and it's not going to be me. Right here next week, I'm going on the perfect hunt. And the prey is a Red Rooster. And Red Rooster, like everything else I've done in my life and every victory I've had, this too will be absolutely perfect.
All right, easily Red Rooster's toughest opponent to date in one Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, hoping to keep that perfect record right here next week. And we'll also have more comments from Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage right here next week as part of Superstars. Well, it's safe to say the road to WrestleMania is full speed ahead. 3 title matches announced this week, plus the spectacle that is Jake versus Andre. John Studd is referee. The potential of Bobby Heenan getting his comeuppance from the Red Rooster. A tease of Bad News Brown in an open contract. Who might sign that contract? The sky's the limit at this point for the big event, upcoming April 2. And of course, the big one confirmed, the match that no doubt going to sell the show all by itself, talking about Hulk Hogan battling the Macho Man, WWF title on the line. And right now, guys, before we get rolling into Wrestling Challenge, going to take this quick WrestleCopia timeout.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hey guys, Ray Russell back to talk to you about all the new and exciting audio and video podcasts we've been putting together over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. As a self-funded brand, this entire ship is powered by our patrons. It's your support that keeps all of these wonderful shows going here at WrestleCopia. And with that said, I wanted to mention that we now have 3 major tiers with tons of Patreon-exclusive next-level content for our Patreon supporters. And it all starts with the $5 all-access tier, which gets you early access to many of the weekly podcasts, at least a dozen monthly digital downloads for your viewing and reading pleasure, the insanely detailed show notes for the Wrestling Memory Grenade Regional Wrestling and the OG Monday Warfare podcast, plus random bonus video drops, archived old school audio watch-alongs from the early years of the brand. And if that's not all, the brand new Patreon exclusive podcast, Ranting Raw, featuring yours truly, Ray Russell, completely uncensored, unfiltered, with honest takes, taking patron questions and addressing various topics from throughout wrestling history. It is a whole lot of fun wrapped under the all-access tier for only $5, but things get even hotter with the VIP Superfan tier. For just a few dollars more, you get everything already mentioned in the all-access tier, plus as part of the VIP tier, a whole new slew of videocast series where it's not just your typical watch-alongs. Sure, we laugh, we have fun, but we're also breaking down the history, the context, and the why behind what you're seeing. And as part of the VIP tier, you have access to Dan Gennety's Puro Resu Academy videocast, the Coliseum videocast with co-host Gene Jackson, and the Monday Warfare videocast, Raw vs. Nitro, breaking down the history of the Monday Night War. Plus, you also get the Memphis 1985 folder of goodies and all show notes for the Puro Academy podcast and Gene's retro review show. Lots to be had there at the VIP tier. But wait, there's more. For those WrestleCopia backers who crave even more from the brand, we bring you yet another level of content fit for a warrior, because it is indeed the ultimate tier, which gives you everything from the all-access pass, everything from the VIP tier, plus you will receive access to the big ones video series, featuring a lengthy look and discussion into some of the biggest pay-per-views, super shows, and other events from throughout wrestling history. It's also a great place to keep up with the big events that coincide with the Monday Warfare videocast and so many other big events from years gone by. You'll also have access to the newest big hit to the Copia brand. I'm talking about Regional Wrestling Unreal, the video series. Get ready for the next level in regional wrestling as we dissect territory history in video form. Watch along with us. But still, even more for your money, guys. You'll also receive access to the Treasure Chest, which offers patrons the unique opportunity to download and watch select rarities from wrestling history. And for those of you who are wondering what we offer, are contemplating joining a paid Patreon membership, or simply a curious lurker, a reminder there's a free tier at our Patreon that you can join as well. Remember, guys, no subscription, cancel any time, but I think you'll like the content that we're offering there for any budget you may have. And you can sign up right now, patreon.com/WrestleCopia, or look for the QR code where available. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia podcast network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
All right, guys, welcome back. Right now, we're going to keep things rolling, going back to Wrestling Challenge, February 19th, 1989. All right, it is Challenge, February 19th, tape back January 25th, Phoenix, Arizona, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon on commentary for this one. Off to the ring to see the tag team champions Axe and Smash Demolition battle Chip Atkinson and Dusty Wolf as the Champions Club are down a mustachioed Dusty Wolf here this week, and it is demolish and destroy for a good chunk of the time for poor Dust. Then it's Atkinson's turn to the ring for a little fun, if you will. And meanwhile, on commentary, seeds are planted from Bobby Heenan here, as he says his brainbusters are looking to take on whomever walks out of WrestleMania with those championship belts. Back to the action, it's Chip Atkinson eating the demolition decapitation, giving the Demos the win, 2 minutes, 47 seconds. The champions looking strong here, heading into their title defense against the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji at WrestleMania. And apparently the Brainbusters will be waiting in the wings. Very interesting. As we continue on, it's special report, but not with Lord Alfred Hayes, rather Mean Gene Okerlund, because it's the same update that we got on Superstars, the WrestleMania 5 rundown, as we know it thus far. 4 matches signed, many more to be announced. So it's back to the ring to see King Haku, with Bobby Heenan by his side, taking on Omar Atlas. As Haku removes his regal garb, controls the match most of the way. Atlas going to make a comeback, work the arm of the King for a moment, but a chop war begins, and Atlas runs right into a hip block from Haku, which sets him up for that thrust kick right to the face. Does it every time. Gives the King the win, 2 minutes, 23 seconds. And King Haku on the short list of the one Mighty Hercules, looking now for members of the Heenan family. But another fun win this week from Haku. Again, that thrust kick, man, something to behold. As we continue on, we get a replay at this point, the second vignette of the $1 Million Man searching for progress on his $1 million title belt. And then it's back to the ring for Rugged Ronnie Garvin in action, taking on Lou Fabiano. Garvin tossing his towel to the crowd, and away we go here. Insert promo from Rugged Ronnie as well. He's always done it his way, he says, and it'll be no different here in the World Wrestling Federation. Very straightforward promo, very straightforward action. As true to his name, we get a rugged style beatdown from Garvin on Fabiano, twisting Lou up in all sorts of pretzel holds, if you will. And a big right hand sends Fabiano to the mat, followed by the Garvin stomp, a pile driver, and a standing splash. Going to give Garvin the win, 2 minutes, 12 seconds. Tougher than nails. Rumor has it, there's a spot at WrestleMania for old Rugged Ronnie G. As we go off now to the event center, Sean Mooney standing by. We heard from the champions over on Superstars. Now we're going to hear from the challengers for the big tag title matchup at the pay-per-view, talking about Mr. Fuji and his Powers of Pain.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney, and you heard the spectacular announcement. WrestleMania 5, Sunday afternoon, April 2nd, starting at 4 p.m., live from Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. And for the Tag Team Championship, Action Smash of Demolition to take on the trio of Mr. Fuji and the Powers of Pain.
Demolition. Boy, I thought you were smart. Evidently, you don't have it up here. 3 against 2. It is beautiful. Remember, the Master Fuji, WrestleMania 4, was responsible for you getting the belt. But let me tell you, when the Master put on his trunks, and I had 2 big men, the Powers of Pain, next to Master Fuji, what chance do you have? Slim and none. And they've been in Master Fuji torture chamber. They've been through rugged training, worse than you went through. Every day they were doing about 1,000 push-ups, run for 5-10 miles, and carry me on their back. And all I want them to do is make you suffer. I want them to tear you apart, piece by piece. And I'm going to get a piece of you myself to show you who the Master is, and we will be the new World Tag Team Champions. I assure you, I got a few last WrestleMania 4, but WrestleMania 5 will be the Powers of Pain. We will show all the people around the world who the champions are, who are the real champions, the Powers of Pain.
Well, Fuji left the Champions Demolition back at Survivor Series, but he feels he has new champions now in his stable. Talking about the Warlord and the Barbarian, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. They seem ready for the big title match at WrestleMania, and they have the numbers game 1. It will indeed be 3-on-2, and even though Fuji now retired and a manager, still a former multiple-time tag team champion. He knows how to get it done in the ring, and beware that ceremonial salt. As we go back to the ring, here on Challenge, it's Outlaw Ron Bass taking on Steve Stone. As the Outlaw's hair grows slower than a line moves at the DMV, still bald here, embarrassed and playing up the humiliation as the fans laugh at Ron Bass after he slowly removes his cowboy hat. And that's the exact story the Outlaw tells in an insert promo. The opponents will pay for the fans' reaction of chanting Baldy, Baldy. He doesn't want to hear it, guys. And Bass going to take it out on Steve Stone this week. Big right hand right between the eyes sets Stone up for the Texas-style pedigree. Going to give Ron Bass the win in just 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Ron Bass not going to be long for the company. He'll finish up in the middle of March. We're going to see his final match here on TV anytime now. On Superstars, we got the old My Side of the Story vignettes. We get a couple of new promos here this week. On Challenge, once again from Hulk Hogan talking about the Macho Man.
We're going to find out what kind of Macho Man you really are, brother. Now that the contract signed for WrestleMania 5 for the WWF Championship, we're going to find out just how macho you really are. You know, with Jack Tunney pointing his finger at you, with all my little Hulksters pointing their fingers at you, and with our manager, the lovely Elizabeth, pointing her finger at you, you didn't have as much time as you thought you did. You didn't have as much time to plan your scam, how to avoid Hulkamania, the strongest power in the universe. But when you branded me, brother, with a WWF Championship in the side of my head in Milwaukee, man, you branded your fate. You branded your destiny. But I tell you what you did for me, man. You cleared up the whole situation. You cleared the air for me. You made me realize what I had to do. Simple facts are, I'm the best champion there ever was, there ever will be, as long as there's a W. And I'm coming back at WrestleMania 5 to strip that thing from around your waist and to bury you, Macho Man. You know something, brother? Elizabeth, I never had lust for her, physically, emotionally, or any other way. All I wanted her to do was be my manager, take care of business. And Liz, I thank you, baby. You got Macho Man right on the dotted line. Now back off. Get out of this thing emotionally. Get away from the ring physically. Even though you said you wanted to be in my corner, you better get back. This is between me and the Macho Man. And I want you to think about one thing, Randy Savage. Every time we left that ring, brother, there was one set of footprints. And when we get to that dressing room, there was always one huge pool of sweat. That's because, brother, I carried your load. I was the one out there working for the team. I was the one out there pulling us through. Not you, brother. It was me. And at WrestleMania 5, when all my Hulkamaniacs are on my side, and you face the largest arms in the world, brother, there's going to be one set of footprints that leave that ring, man. They're going to be my footprints walking back to the dressing room, because I'm going to throw you off my back, brother, and head back on my own. And when I get to that dressing room, there's going to be one huge pool of sweat, brother. It's going to be my sweat. And in that pool of sweat will be me and the WWF Championship celebrating a victory. What you gonna do, Macho Man, with the largest arms in the world, and Hulkamania destroys you?
Well, the Hulkster says we're going to find out what kind of Macho Man you really are, Randy Savage. The contract has been signed. WrestleMania 5. Hulkster claiming Elizabeth pointing her finger at Randy Savage. She's blaming Randy for this split up. It's the lovely Liz. So says Hulk Hogan. The Hulkster stating, Randy, you didn't have time to plan your scam, whatever that might have been. The best champion there ever was, the best champion there ever will be, says Hulk Hogan. That's who he is. Uh-oh, I don't think the Hitman is going to take a liking to that one. Best champion there ever was, ever will be? I don't know. Hulkster reiterating that he never had lust for the lovely Elizabeth. She got Randy Savage to sign the contract, so Hulk says, Elizabeth, back off, baby. Because I used you too, even though you said you wanted to be in my corner? Are you fucking serious? Hulkster alluding that Elizabeth begged to be in his corner? What kind of babyface promo is this? As he continued on there, you heard him say he carried the load in the Mega Powers. There was only one pool of sweat in the ring, and it was not yours, Randy Savage. Hulk Hogan doing all the work, or so he says. I wrote, holy fuck, in my notes. What kind of babyface is this guy? And again, you guys can check these promos out. I posted them to my social media. This particular promo making a lot of ground, a lot of response, one way or the other there from fans of the Hulkster and the anti-Hulk fans as well. Go check it out, guys. It's very interesting. Lots of heel comments made there by one Hulk Hogan. We're going to hear more from the Macho Man later in this episode, but right now we go back to the ring for the Bushwhackers. Luke and Butch taking on the Black Knight and Tim Patterson. We get an insert promo here from the Whackers, who have an article in the latest edition of the WWF magazine. And by article, I don't mean they wrote it. That would be just odd. As in the ring, it's a beatdown on the masked knight first, followed by Patterson. He gets a turn as well. Whacker's still using things that resemble action wrestling moves here in their early goings with the company. Battering ram and double gutbuster going to put Patterson away. Bushwhackers going over 2 minutes, 44 seconds. And I really don't know what to say except they're over with the fans. I can't really explain it, but they are over. Luke and Butch, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue on with Challenge, a special interview conducted by Lord Alfred Hayes. He has this week as his guests Bobby Heenan and Andre the Giant. Bobby Heenan first admitting he didn't give much thought to a guest referee in the Jake Andre match. He was fine with it until he found out it would be Big John Studd, the bias Big John Studd. And this brings out John as he and Bobby Heenan have a brief stare down here on the platform before Bobby backing off as we close the segment with a Studd Andre stare down, foreshadowing post-Mania season. You have to imagine. A WrestleMania 1 rematch in the works. And I shudder at the thought. John Studd and Andre the Giant, no thank you, but it is fun to see. We turn back time a little bit there, and two giants standing nose to nose, Andre and John Studd. A fun visual at the very least. Just don't let the bell ring. As we continue on, speaking of bells ringing, Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, taking on Steve Sharkey this week. Warrior Man, monster over here with the fans. He can do no wrong. We get an insert promo from Ravishing Rick Rude, who mocks his attack on the Warrior during the Super Pose Down. Rude stating that he took the Warrior's pride at Royal Rumble, and at WrestleMania, he's going to take his title. Meanwhile, on commentary, Bobby Heenan doubling down, promising Rick Rude will indeed be the new IC champ after the pay-per-view. But in the ring here this week, it's the Ultimate Warrior with a big boot and a double-handed choke toss, sending Sharkey down to the mat. Before too long, it's the Gorilla Press drop and the big splash, going to give Warrior the win. 2 minutes and 14 seconds as they push the IC title match at WrestleMania 5. We go back to the big match at WrestleMania. However, we heard from Hulk Hogan. Now we're going to hear a response from the Macho Man.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, you want to know what kind of a macho man I am? I'll tell you what kind of a macho man I'm not. I'm not the kind of a macho man that would steal a manager from a mega power partner. And I'm not the kind of a man that would have lust in my eyes for that same manager, yeah. And I'm not the kind of a macho man that would have jealousy from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. Because of my World Wrestling Federation tag team partner, that's me, yeah. You say I didn't have time to think. I ain't been thinking about this a long, long time, yeah. When I branded you with that belt, it was only because that was the last thing that I could think of to do. Because I know you wanted to challenge me all along, but you didn't have the guts. So I publicly humiliated you, yeah. And now you call yourself the best champion, past, present, and future. Man, you make me sick. You don't want Elizabeth anywhere around the ring during the moment of truth. I don't blame you, yeah. After the way you publicly humiliated her, she's gonna be in the madness's corner. Because of that humiliation sticks in my mind, and I'll never forget it. More proof, Hulk Hogan, about the type of man that you are, yeah. And you talk about this big pool of sweat around you after the mega power matches. But that pool of sweat was from your showboating and hotdogging, yeah. Where the pool of sweat around the madness was from pulling the load, yeah. Doing the work for both of us, yeah. And after WrestleMania 5, you say you're gonna have another pool of sweat around you. Well, you got that half right, yeah. It's gonna be a pool of water, and it's not from sweat. No, it's from tears, yeah, Hulk Hogan, because Hulkamania is sick, yeah. It's sick with envy, it's sick with jealousy, and it's sick with lust, yeah. And after it's all over at WrestleMania 5, and that sickness just eats you up from the top of your head all the way on down, Hulkamania is finally gonna die, yeah.
Randy Savage stating there he's not the kind of man that would steal a manager from a partner, that would have lust in the eyes, jealousy in his heart for the WWF champion. The Hulkster wanted Randy's title all along, but he didn't have the guts to issue a challenge. So Randy Savage publicly humiliated Hogan, blasting him with the belt there as part of the main event. You called yourself the best champion, past, present, and future, Hogan? Randy Savage spitting there on the promo, saying the Hulkster makes him sick. Miss Elizabeth is going to be in the corner of the madness, says Randy Savage, after Hulk Hogan humiliated her, as we again cut to the clip of Hogan's hand on lovely Liz's ass from SummerSlam. Hogan talking about that pool of sweat? Yeah, from showboating and hotdogging. Randy Savage stating that the pool was from pulling the load in the ring, but it was Randy Savage pulling that load. There's going to be another pool at WrestleMania, a pool of tears, as Hulkamania is going to die. Yeah. Randy Savage, great promo here. A pool of tears for the Hulkster and his Hulkamaniacs. Showboating and hotdogging is what created that pool of sweat from the Hulkster. Gotta love the Macho Man. As we continue on, feature match this week to close out primetime. Jim the Anvil Neidhart taking on the former greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man. Neidhart comes right after Honky, but HTM going to bail and stall on the floor. Finally back in the ring, Honky Tonk wisely ducking between the ropes. But this is the Anvil, and he gives no fucks. Sick of the games, Neidhart going to work over the former Intercontinental Champion. Big atomic drop, and Honky going to bail to the floor once more. But Anvil laying chase to Honk back inside. Honky Tonk Man luring Neidhart up to the apron, and HTM going to take over, stomping down Jim Neidhart. Honky with a lot of punching and kicking, a normal, typical Honky Tonk offense, but the Anvil hammering back, big forearm blow, and a shoulder block, plowing Honky Tonk over down to the mat. Honky Tonk winding up in a Neidhart bear hug before too long. Yeah, baby! But it's Greg Valentine running in for interference, causing a disqualification, saving his buddy, the Honky Tonk Man. Match goes only 3 minutes and 21 seconds, and down goes the Anvil. Greg Valentine with a series of big elbow drops, dropping the hammer on the Anvil, then adjusting that shin guard before applying the patented figure 4 leg lock from Valentine, looking to finish what he started several weeks ago, trying to break the leg of the Anvil here. But it is the Hitman, Bret Hart, out to the rescue, make the save. The Hart Foundation reunited here this week as they clear the ring of double trouble. Honky Tonk Man Greg Valentine go fleeing as Neidhart selling in the leg, but he looks to be okay, back on his feet by the end of the segment. And much like the Rockers Brainbusters going on right now in the house shows, would have been nice to get a Hart Foundation Rougeau brother match at WrestleMania, but I get the feud was running long in the tooth, and they wanted to freshen things up with new Jimmy Hart-led opponents for the Hart Foundation. And it looks like the recently disbanded Harts are reuniting for WrestleMania season, which is probably for the best, given their opponents. Still, the Hart Foundation, they aren't miracle workers. Good luck taking on Honky Tonk and the Hammer. As we continue on, Event Center Sean Mooney going to stand by with the likes of one Jake the Snake Roberts.
And welcome back. Many scores to be settled at WrestleMania 5, Sunday afternoon, April 2nd, live from Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Especially in this one, Andre the Giant to face Jake the Snake Roberts, the special guest referee, Big John Studd. Let's hear from Jake.
I got what I wanted. Well, one of the first times in my life, I asked for something out of this business, and I got exactly what I wanted. You. WrestleMania 5. April 2nd, Atlantic City. That's where it's going to come down. That's where the war will be over, Andre. You see, we've got somebody in there now that can take the rules and say, this is the way it's going to be. You won't be able to take those big mitts of yours and stick them around my throat and choke the life out of me like you have in the past. You've done it to everybody else. But now we've got a referee that can keep things in control. One that's 7 foot tall. I mean, you talk about John Studd, brother. You're not talking about a little child. You're talking about a man. And this man doesn't have to play any games. There's nothing in it for me, for him, because personally, I don't like John Studd. But I know that he can take care of business, man. He's 3 times the size of a normal referee. So what's going to happen, Andre, is that we're going to have to do it by the rules. Or as long as we don't get caught, right? Everything's legal unless you get caught. And Damien, that's just part of it. You got to live with that for the rest of your life.
Well, the Snake Man admitting he's not a fan of Big John Studd, but he believes that Stud will make sure the rules will be followed at WrestleMania, giving the Snake fair odds against Andre the Giant. As we close out this week's challenge, Jake the Snake Roberts going to be in action next week, along with the Brainbusters, Tito Santana, Bad News Brown, Ravishing Rick Rude going to be here. And the feature match, I don't know if this is going to keep people tuning in, but it's going to see Brutus the Barber Beefcake battle Dino Bravo.
That's right, Frenchie. Right here, next week on national television, I've got you, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And you can bring your scissors along, Barber, because the only thing that's gonna snap is your back.
Yeah, Dino Bravo, right here. Next week on TV, it's you and me. And since you're so fond of titles, how about this one? World's Baldest Man!
Well, what can you say about that match? Not much. The Barber battles the Canadian Strongman right here next week on Wrestling Challenge, and more WrestleMania matches no doubt going to be decided as well, as we have one more piece of business here this week to cover. It is a special 3-hour presentation of primetime wrestling going back to February 20th and what they're billing as the face-to-face special. All right, we are hosted here, 3-hour special. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon here in the studio. Exclusive matches, exclusive interviews, including from Binghamton, New York, Broome County Arena. It's the face-to-faces. And what these face-to-face interviews are, that's going to be, for the most part, it's wrestlers competing against one another at WrestleMania. They're going to be interviews conducted by Vince McMahon in a debate-like style. We're going to hear from both sides of several matches going into WrestleMania. Some of the podium interviews include Demolition and the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji. Hercules and King Haku apparently now a match for WrestleMania. We're going to hear from Haku and Bobby Heenan, as well as the Mighty One here in one of these face-to-face promos, as well as Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant, Bobby Heenan by his side, and Big John Studd joining the conversation there between the Snake Man and the Eighth Wonder. Also, another match apparently signed for WrestleMania. We hear from both sides of Dino Bravo and Ronnie Garvin. Two French Canadians going to get it on as part of the big pay-per-view. Bushwhackers and Fabulous Rougeaus, another match apparently signed for WrestleMania. We hear from both sides of that one, as well as Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, taking on Rick Rude. Well, Warrior's not much up for a debate here. We hear a little bit from Ravishing Rick, but when it's Warrior's turn to make his entrance, he runs everybody off wild style there from the Intercontinental Champion. No debate needed. Warrior said it all with his actions, running the challenger off, heading into WrestleMania 5. Also, we've got 3 sound bites queued up for you here this week from a few of the matches potentially going to take place, or very different in this instance. We're going to hear from 2 women here, and that's going to be the ladies champion Rockin' Robin, as well as the sensational Sherry. No, they don't have a match scheduled for WrestleMania, although Rockin' Robin does play a prominent part in the event. We'll have more on that later. But this week, the ladies are going to discuss in which corner they feel the lovely Miss Elizabeth should be in come the main event. Will Liz be in the corner of the Macho Man or Hulk Hogan? We're going to hear thoughts from Rockin' Robin and sensational Sherry.
Thank you very much for joining us, ladies. And both of you apparently have an opposing view as to whose corner Miss Elizabeth should be in at WrestleMania 5. Should she be in the corner of the Macho Man Randy Savage? Or should Elizabeth be in the corner of Hulk Hogan? And perhaps we may start with your comments, please, sensational Sherry.
Elizabeth was the luckiest woman in the world for 3.5 years. She was given the most beautiful clothes, is not as beautiful as mine. She was blessed to have the most wonderful man in the world, the Macho Man Randy Savage. She had him buying her everything, giving her everything. So as far as I'm concerned, Vince McMahon, I think that Elizabeth should be in the corner of the Macho Man Randy Savage. However, there is not a bone in her body that is deserving of being in the Macho Man Randy Savage's corner. And I think, and it's my prediction at WrestleMania, she should go to Macho Man Randy Savage's corner.
All right. And now perhaps comments from Rockin' Robin.
Thank you. You know, I'm amazed by your lack of common sense. everyone in the world watched. They saw exactly what happened in Milwaukee. They saw the Macho Man threaten Elizabeth. They saw him manhandle Elizabeth. He didn't even have the decency to see if she was okay. Who brought her back to the dressing room? Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan made sure that Elizabeth was all right. He went back there, he stayed right by her side until he was sure she was going to be okay. Where was Macho Man?
He was up there right in the middle trying to take care of the match. That's
whatsoever.
where he was.
No concern on the Macho Man's part. So let me tell you, I know Elizabeth is a smart lady. Elizabeth at WrestleMania 5, she will be with the winner. She will be with the winner, Hulk Hogan!
Well, kind of a unique perspective, a woman's point of view when it comes to a woman and Miss Elizabeth. Sherry feels that Liz has no business leaving the Macho Man. Rockin' Robin thinks that Miss Elizabeth should go where it's right. Savage manhandling the lovely Liz as part of NBC. And now Elizabeth should turn to her new charge, Hulk Hogan. And I got to tell you, Sherry, not the greatest promo at this point. She's going to get there, guys. But Rockin' Robin, probably the best thing she's ever done in her year and a half here in the company, or near year and a half at this point. It's a promo that has absolutely nothing to do with her, although they never really let her do much. But Rockin' Robin will be, again, featured at WrestleMania. Stay tuned. We also have another match which hasn't been signed, but they're going to spend a little time discussing it here. And I'm talking about Red Rooster and his challenge laid out to Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Again, Mr. Rooster, if you'd please take your place here.
See, now you know, McMahon, the dummy can't take direction. You stand there and don't move, dummy.
Now wait just a minute. Before you get started, Bobby the Brain Heenan, you have been challenged by the Red Rooster for a one-on-one confrontation at WrestleMania 5. Why have you not accepted?
First of all, the last thing on my busy agenda would be to soil my hands on your foul, rooster-infested chicken body. The last thing I want to do is touch you. I don't know where you've been with that lousy-looking haircut. It's all red. And your name is Alan Taylor. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm standing out here. I'm trying to talk to people.
My name is
Your
Rooster.
name is Terry Taylor. I gave you the name Rooster. You shouldn't even call yourself that. So don't ask for me to get into a ring, pal. You're a limited athlete. You don't want to get a hold of me, believe me.
Perhaps the Brawler would have something to say?
Brawler, what would you do if you saw a rooster walking down Flatbush in Brooklyn?
I'd stretch his neck until he squealed.
So it's very simple. Very simple. If you want some of me, let's see if you can go through the Brawler. And then if there's any parts left, like a drumstick or a gizzard or maybe a wing, I may consider it. But you're not in my league, punk.
All right, we thank you for your
I wouldn't
comments.
lower myself to be in your league. I came here, this rooster came here to challenge that chicken-hearted weasel. You got the guts.
See, the only reason anybody's even chanting Rooster or chanting this garbage is because of your fame. And your fame was created because of me and my brains. You don't have one bit of ability. You don't have one bit of brains. You're a zero. And if you want a part of me, pal, if you want part of me, you can forget it. Because if you don't go through this guy, you don't go through anybody. I can't worry myself.
Yeah, I was so limited
you.
on the Saturday Night Main Event when I slapped you all over the ring, wasn't I?
Sure,
You put your hands on me first. You started it. You berated me in front of the people. You had your turn. You wait a second. You were the one talking me down. You were the one taking the credit. You said you did everything. You did nothing but take my money. So now I'm saying here's a chance for you to earn some of it back. Sign a match against me if you have any courage. If there's any man in that weasel body of yours, any guts, sign a contract. Tell these people now.
Let me tell you something, you barnyard piece of garbage. Don't you ever insult me in front of people or try to. You're not in my league, like I said.
Yeah,
but you go back to the barnyard. I'm talking. You shut up when a man's talking.
Wait just a minute, please.
When a man's talking, you know your place, you limited subhuman.
If I'm so limited, sign the contract. Sign it.
The Red Rooster.
Well, Rooster continuing to taunt the Brain here, looking for Bobby Heenan to accept his challenge, a matchup at WrestleMania. The manager and his former charge, Terry Taylor, Red Rooster. Bobby Heenan doesn't even seem to know his real name here. Getting it wrong. Very flustered was Bobby, although accompanied by the Brooklyn Brawler, who also seems to be part of this feud. He's going to be defending Bobby Heenan. Of course, Brawler making that making that debut as the Brawler, attacking the Rooster as part of Primetime Wrestling. So full circle, we're back on Primetime. Rooster issuing that challenge. We'll have to wait and see if Bobby accepts, as we have one more promo lined up. It was supposed to be a fun little debate between the WWF champion Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, but Macho Man a no-show, so we get a replay of that My Side of the Story vignette interview that we got on Superstars, but Hulk Hogan out here in front of the masses in Broome County Arena for a rebuttal.
Hulk Hogan, we would like to thank you very much for appearing. I know that you wanted to appear here with Randy Savage in the opposing podium. Nonetheless, we thank you very much for your presence here at this moment. Nonetheless, the Macho Man raised several salient points. One of them, of course, in which he raised was the fact that you said that Elizabeth was your lady. What did you mean exactly by that?
Well, first off, Vince McMahon, before I get into the thing about the Macho Man saying that Elizabeth was my lady, Macho Man Randy Savage, it's no surprise to anybody here that you wouldn't show your face, brother, after what you did in Milwaukee, the way you turned on me, the way you turned on Elizabeth, the way you destroyed this whole Mega Power team, brother. I knew you wouldn't show your face once the match was signed until WrestleMania 5. So just the fact that you're not being here tells me a lot about you. But as far as you accusing me of trying to make Elizabeth my lady, the simple facts are, Macho Man, when the Mega Power team was formed, the most powerful team of all time, I said I wanted Elizabeth to be my manager, brother. Nothing emotional, man. Nothing physical from Elizabeth. Simply do her job and be my manager. And the way you edited all that footage, the way you tried to twist the story, the way you tried to make it look that I wanted more from Elizabeth, makes me sick, Macho Man.
Another accusation hurled by the Macho Man that in a recent match that he had with the Conquistadors, that in fact it was an opportunity that you proved that you were trying to hot dog, showboat, and steal the thunder of the World Wrestling Federation champion himself because of jealousy on your part. Your response, please.
Well, my response is the same as everything else, man. After Milwaukee, Macho Man, you made a decision which way you're going, brother. And now that I know how warped your thinking is, brother, you were right as far as the Conquistadors go, brother. I did come in at the end of the match, but all I did, brother, was I was doing exactly what you told me to do. I was watching your back, and no doubt, Macho Man, the way you had things going, you could have beaten both Conquistadors at the same time. But all I simply did, brother, was watch your back like you asked me, man. No hot dogging, no showboating. I was pointing to you, man. I wanted all my Hulkamaniacs to be with you when you were posing down, Macho Man.
And Hulk Hogan, if I may continue to persist on behalf of the Macho Man Randy Savage, was it not your idea to use Elizabeth as the secret weapon in SummerSlam? Was it not your idea only?
Let me tell you something, Vince McMahon. When the Macho Man and I formed the Mega Power team, we decided at that given point in time, every decision we made, whether it was intellectually or physically in the ring, we would both be 50-50 on, man. And when we got into the SummerSlam against the Mega Bucks, at that time, that was the most dangerous situation we'd been in. And oh yeah, brother, the idea about Elizabeth taking her dress off, that was also the Macho Man's idea. He was the one that was talking about the itsy bitsy string bikini. And Macho Man, the way you twisted that story around, that really makes me sick.
Hulk Hogan, perhaps the thing that may hurt you the most is the accusation hurled by the Macho Man that you have had and continue to have lust in your heart for Elizabeth. And with that in mind, I would like to take you back to the post-celebration of SummerSlam. Were you, in fact, not attempting to be a bit suggestive on the part of Elizabeth?
As far as the post-celebration goes, you know, the Macho Man said there was lust in my eyes, brother. He said that I was jealous of him, man. But the simple facts are, there was something in my eyes, brother. It was envy, man, because the way the Macho Man held his end up in the SummerSlam, man, made me proud of him, brother. And as I helped him put Elizabeth on his shoulder, all that was edited footage. The way it went, brother, was I put her on his shoulder. The next move was I went for the belt and I handed it to you. And as I looked up at you, Macho Man, you and Elizabeth, all I wanted, brother, was to be on your shoulder too, man. I wanted to be part of that victory. I wanted to be sky high with both of you. And that's all it was, Macho Man. That's all it was, brother. What you saw in my eyes was envy. I wanted to be on your shoulder right next to Liz. But you know something, Macho Man? The way you've twisted this whole thing, your mind is so warped. I'm glad you're not here right now, brother, because I don't know if I can hold myself back. I may take your head off right here. I am so glad. Macho Man, I am so glad that you were smart enough to wait till WrestleMania 5, because that's when you're going to find out what the true meaning of Hulkamania is. That Hulkamania lives, that you can't defeat it, brother. And in WrestleMania 5, Macho Man, with all of my Hulkamaniacs on my side, I'm going to end the madness, brother. I'm going to ruin you in WrestleMania 5. And what are you going to do, Macho Man, when Hulkamania destroys you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan!
Well, it was more of the same there. Vince McMahon conducting the interview this time as Hulk Hogan goes back and explains away all the accusations made thus far by the Macho Man. Not so much a debate again. Hulk Hogan giving his side of the story along with Vince McMahon, making sure they get all the points in as we get ready to close it up this week. Just a few exclusive matches aired on primetime, including two of them taped January 24th in Tucson, the Twin Towers over at Mark Ming and Ricky Ataki. Match going 344. Akeem getting the win with a big splash on Mark Ming. Another matchup involving the Brooklyn Brawler with Bobby Heenan in his corner. Steve Lombardi scoring the win over Omar Atlas, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. After delivering, I guess you could call it maybe a face buster. Brawler off the middle rope, driving Atlas's face down to the mat. 3 matches thus far from Steve Lombardi and the Brawler character. 3 different finishes, trying some, various match moves out right now as a finisher for the Brooklyn Brawler. That whoopee cushion, that seated butt drop that he hit, last week on TV, definitely wasn't it. Talk about total danger. I'm surprised he didn't fracture the skull of his opponent, but this week, not a very good looking finish from Steve Lombardi, but he's going to keep trying, and that's what counts. As we've got one more match this week, taped February 3rd, more recently in Milwaukee, part of the main event taping from the Bradley Center. This one's out there. I believe it's on a Coliseum video somewhere as well. Tag Team Champions Demolition defeating the Powers of Pain 2-on-2, scoring the win by disqualification. Match goes a little over 8 minutes. Mr. Fuji throwing salt in the face of Axe. Blinding Axe momentarily right in the eyes, salt to the eyes, as the Powers of Pain got to lay out the champions, the challengers using Fuji's cane, beating down Demolition, leaving the champions laying. We had never seen that before, but a great setup for the matchup, the rematch coming at WrestleMania. And of course, Fuji going to be in the corner as well. So Demolition going to be able to keep their eyes on all 3 men during that title rematch at WrestleMania. Trump Plaza, guys, but you put it all together, WrestleMania 5 beginning to take shape. Yes, the tag team match we just discussed, Rick Rude and the Warrior, Jake and Andre, Hercules and Haku. The Rougeaus and the Bushwhackers, Garvin and Bravo, Hogan and Savage. That's half the card. 7 matches announced, plus Red Rooster challenging Bobby Heenan. Will he accept? We know 7 matches confirmed, another 7 matches to be announced, 7 more on the way, and a special added segment to be announced as well. So stay tuned for all of that in the weeks to come here as part of the Grenade, as part of the WWF story here in 1989. But for right now, we're going to wrap it up this week. I want to thank you all again for tuning in. I'm a little under the weather, as some of you may know from listening or reading some of my social media posts, but I'm getting there, guys, hopefully. And it was fun to be able to do this again for you this week, and hopefully we'll have another one for you next week as we will be closing up February of 89, moving so much closer to WrestleMania 5. Want to encourage everybody to stop over to WrestleCopia.com, check out all the great podcasts we've got going over there right now at WrestleCopia. And of course, last but certainly not least, I'm asking everybody to give it a try. Any of the tiers at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. You can't go wrong, guys. There's a tier for everybody, whether you're looking for support of the brand or you're looking for the video cast, the drop box of wrestling footage. We've got so much great stuff going on right now at our Patreon. As we close up shop here this week, we're going to be back, going to close out February 89. One more week of TV coming at you before we head into the home stretch in the month of March. But for right now, this is Ray Russell saying from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin, I'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Be there!
The Red Rooster!
You got lust in your eyes and in your black heart for Elizabeth. I'm gonna get you, yeah. What are you gonna tell all your Hulkamaniacs in front of that capacity crowd, in front of zillions and zillions of people all over the world, when they know that Hulkamania's dead?